So I've been here at the family operation since 2007. I went through Texas Christian University Ranch Management Program. I graduated from there and I immediately came back to the ranch and started ranching here at the operation. Caney Creek Ranch is a multifaceted operation. We have Charbray cattle, which we breed Brahman crossed with Charolais, which we sell bulls, heifers, and we sell semen and embryos from. We sell them within the United States and also internationally. I think the obstacle for me, it's multifaceted. One of them is, how do you make this generational? You know, I'm the one that wanted to come back to the ranch. So the obstacle for me is to make sure that there's someone after me to come back to the ranch, because it's not everyone's cup of tea, as you say. My dad purchased this place in 2007. And I'll be honest, we weren't familiar with any kind of programs here. So it's one of those things, you're coming to an operation and one day you have a small 20 head of cattle, and then you all of a sudden have 1,200 head of cattle. So that's a huge transition overnight after you sign a contract. So there was a lot for us to learn here. So a lot of it was us reaching out to whatever sources that could help us. If it wasn't for NRCS, we would not be able to have the type of cattle operation we have now. We would not be able to have all the cross fencing to allow us to do the rotational grazing, allow us to have multiple herds on our operation. We would not be able to have the water resources we have currently. We've been able to implement forage and have successful forages in each one of our pastures. We've had 120 acre pastures that did not need to be that large for 20 to 25 cows if you want to rotate. So some of it was implementing some cross fencing in some of those larger pastures so we can actually make them smaller to allow us to do some rotational grazing, and also allow us to do hay meadows and still have cattle on one side. So allowed us to have both options. NRCS is more of a grant opportunity where they are able to provide us an opportunity to have a mentor type program at someone's ranch. So it allows us to pay for things that are required to make that workshop exist. In return, they are actually coming in and they're speaking, and we're talking about the implementation of EQIP and some of the other programs. So a lot of our sponsorship is for us to have a workshop, and then NRCS will come in, and if we're doing cross fencing, they'll come in and they'll walk us through the whole steps of doing a correct cross fencing and making sure it meets their specs to be approved for them in return to give us funding for that cross fence. My career path has always been, where is the elite jobs? Financing was the elite job. Everyone always talks about, oh, you worked on Wall Street, or you worked here, or you worked there. After coming back on this ranch, I realized that's not really an elite job. They are really taking a product that the farmers and ranchers produce and trading it. So here, number one, being a woman, being a minority, is definitely not common in the agriculture industry. So when people see you, they don't really believe that you understand the ag industry. It's one of those kind of, sometimes I get a little tested, but that's okay. But I take it as a challenge of just learning from each other, kind of asking questions. Don't come in and just expect people to understand you. Just kind of ask questions. What do you think, etc. I think it's because a lot of times, I guess a lot of the men in this industry are not used to having women in authority of kind of directing the operation. It's mostly been a male-dominated industry as a manager aspect. When I did come back to the ranch, I realized that other producers are in the same situation as my parents would have been then if I didn't come home. How can we eliminate that challenge, if you want to say, or that predicament for other producers? So that kind of made me start a nonprofit, which is called the 100 Ranchers. And the 100 Ranchers is just a simple operation, a simple nonprofit. It's not really complicated. Our main goal is to take those producers that are minorities, that might be in a situation my parents were in, but don't have those family history necessarily of being on a ranch, number one, or they might not know who is going to be the next generation on their operation. How can we help that operator? So we really just go to each other's operation. We learn from each other. I might bring a specialist in, I might not bring a specialist in. So it's more of farmer to farmer, rancher to rancher training. And it's been tremendous success. It started out as my dad sitting in this exact room with 5 of his friends that literally just retired and said, I'm going back to my family ranch, to now we have probably 300 to 400 members. And now they just come and we mingle, we meet, we talk about maybe it's cross fencing, or maybe it's pasture grazing, or maybe how do we get rid of worms in our cattle. It could be anything that we talk about, but it's coming together and we do it together.